Hey guys, the Radical One back at you with another video, and today I want to talk about collector's editions. I want to show you guys some of the collector's editions that I got over the last couple years. Some cool stuff that you guys probably don't know about. Now, most of this, probably all of it, is going to be from Pix'n Love, which is a limited print company that's based in, I believe it's France. But I want to show you some other stuff that they have going for them too. They have a Kickstarter for Nightmare Busters Rebirth, which I'll probably talk about in another video in more detail, but I want to kind of put that information out there. But these are collector's editions that I got from them over the years, and I'm going to timestamp this because there's going to be a lot of games in this video. So let's get started. Here's Vengeful Guardian Moonrider Collector's Edition. So this comes with a lot of the stuff that came with Blazing Chrome, but they switched out the cards for an actual poster, so I thought that was pretty cool. But these collections are pretty much the same. And this Moonrider game, man, I really I'm trying to get good at it. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe it's the controller, but I'm sucking at it right now. So hopefully things will get better for me. Unfortunately, I can only really show you guys some good gameplay. I can only show you guys a trailer because I'm barely getting past the first level right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm usually better at these games, but man, I got to get my skill up. Here's Blazing Chrome, the Pix'n Love edition. Now, I was originally going to do an unboxing video for this game, but I figured this game's been out for a while, so I'm just going to skip and just show you guys what's in the package real fast and then go over some gameplay. Now, shout out to Pix'n Love for putting this together. When I opened up this package, it really felt like it was like I was opening a Super Nintendo game pretty much, and that's what Blazing Chrome pretty much feels like. It's a throwback to old school retro games, mainly old school run and gun type games. One of the main things I was happy this package came with was a soundtrack. And they're not doing the jewel case soundtracks anymore, it seems like, with a lot of these collector's editions. They got the little, the sleeve that has some art of the game on the cover. So, very cool looking. But going into the gameplay, if you haven't played this game, it's pretty much a Contra type game. More so, I would say, Contra hardcore than anything. But it's a game that I think everybody will like. And if you guys remember back a couple years back, me and Jason actually played this live. It was our first time playing this game, I believe. And I think we made it to the second level. I think we did all right for our first time playing. But the game definitely takes some getting used to. But it's a fun game. And it has an easy mode, so you get used to things. So I recommend playing on easy first and then kind of getting past that and then playing normal and playing on hard mode. Alright, so here is Sonic Origins collection. So as you can see here, it comes with a Genesis case. Unfortunately, there is no game in here, but I'll probably find some replica to put in there, just for whatever. But anyways, this collector's edition comes with a lot of cool stuff. Now I want to go ahead and say this too. This Plus collection does not come with the DLC embedded on the disc. It comes with a code, but the Game Gear games are still not embedded on the disc, unfortunately. So it's better to look at this collection as just the Sonic Origins collection. The Plus is not in there. But anyways, first thing you see here is you see the register card, what number I have here, which I usually don't show, but hey, you guys can look at it anyways. But it comes with art cards that you can see here. Well, art pictures, I would say, not cards. But there's Amy herself. She plays a big role in Sonic CD. There's Tails, of course, Sonic 2, a very popular character. Of course, we got Sonic as well. These things might be pretty cool, like maybe the frame or something like that, but I'm going to keep mine in the box. And of course, there is Knuckles as well. And this also comes with an acrylic art piece of the cover of the game, so that was pretty cool to see. These acrylic art pieces are on point, guys, so if you ever see them out there, definitely pick them up for your favorite game. And then you can see a little bit of different art on the back, like alternate art, I would say. Then, of course, you got the game here itself. And those codes for the Game Gear games, the Plus version, will be inside of here, of course. So those codes go for whatever region you pick this game up for. But anyways, and then under it, you have the art book, which is really big. So this goes over all the art of the original Sonic games, and it's pretty neat. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I know this is going to be controversial, but my favorite Sonic game out of the original trilogy and the Sega CD game is actually Sonic CD. I know it's not the fastest Sonic game out there. It's more of an exploration game, I would say, going back from the past and future. But that game was just really fun to me, and the soundtrack was freaking phenomenal. So that's pretty much everything this collection comes with. I did want a soundtrack with it, but the acrylic art piece actually kind of like cancels that out, so I'm okay with that. And I have every Sonic game soundtrack, so I'm good to go. But you guys let me know what you think about this collection. You know, I know people were disappointed about the Game Gear games, but at least we got the games we really wanted on here. So when I played this collection for the first time, I immediately went for Sonic City because I love the nostalgia that this game brings to my life. Like I said, it's my favorite Sonic game. It's not the best, but it's my favorite. And you can choose between Japanese and English soundtracks. But I do want to say this, and a lot of people aren't talking about this. When it comes to this collection, if you play Sonic 2, a lot of people don't know that Sonic 2 had a lot of cutout levels. Well, the people that helped bring Sonic CD back to modern platforms, I forgot the guy's name, Kristen, like something. I can't remember his name. But he actually finished one of the levels for Sonic 2, which is Hidden Palace Zone. So if you go to Mystic Ruin Zone, there's a bridge that you drop down, and they actually completed the Hidden Palace Zone, which is really cool. And it has its own unique Robotnik boss. Yeah, I don't call him Eggman, I call him Robotnik. That's because I'm the old school. So, going back to Sonic City, as you can see the gameplay here, a very fun game, but I do want to let you guys know the games that are included on this collection. You got Sonic 1, the Japanese version in English, of course. Well, there's not really any English dialogue in that game, so the Japanese version is the best version of that game. Then you got Sonic 2, of course, Sonic 3, and Knuckles, and of course, the phenomenal Sonic CD as you're seeing here. Chants of Samar. Now, this is a puzzle game that has to do with a language. You play this game as a wanderer who's in this city and you don't know the language. Now, learning the language is not over complicated as it might sound. It's actually pretty simple from what I've played so far, but it might confuse some people at first. I don't know if it gets over complicated the further you get in the game, but so far in the game, it's pretty simple, and I think the pacing goes pretty well in this game, so I don't think a lot of people will get stuck. But something I wanted to show you guys is this cool collector's edition I got from Pix'n Love. So this collector's edition is pretty unique. The box, as you can see, it opens from the sides here, so I thought that was pretty cool. You have the game in the middle here. Now, I think most of you guys know this is not the usual type of game I'll usually pick up, but I wanted to give it a chance because, you know, I do enjoy a lot of indie games. Now, these cards here, some of them show the language of the game, as you can see with the first one here, but a lot of them are just showing the art of the game. So the game has a really nice art style to it. I think a lot of people will be able to appreciate it. And then you get this big book with it as well. This book has a lot of details of the development cycle this game went through, lots of art and everything, and more of the language. Definitely, I think a really cool collector's edition. And just a quick look of everything together. I like taking shots like this just in case I can't get, like, you know, I have bad camera angles or whatever like that. But now you get to see everything that it comes with. Let me know if you'll be picking up this game or the collector's edition. And if you want to, I'll have the links in the description. Alright, so here is the Metal Slug Tactics Shock Box, or Clamshell, whatever people are calling it these days. But I got the PS4 version here. Also comes with a soundtrack, so you can listen to your tunes. Comes with a poster, which I don't really feel like opening up right now, but you know it comes with a folded poster. And these art cards of all the characters in one game I thought was really cool. I think a cool idea to do with these is probably put them in some kind of picture frame. You know, not all of them, but maybe just some of your favorite characters. That'd be kind of cool. But for now, yes, they're going back in the box. And now just a quick look at everything that this comes with. Definitely worth it, in my opinion. Pix'n Love is the only people who are doing the PS4 version of this game. Everybody else is like kind of skipping PS4, going to PS5. I like my games like this on the PS4 or the Switch. I just feel like my PS5 is more of a powerhouse system, so I look for like AAA titles on that system. Now, I honestly didn't think I was going to like this game because obviously you guys know I want a traditional Metal Slug game. But after getting through the tutorial in this game, it kind of won me over. I was like, dude, this game is on point, and it might actually lead into us getting a sequel to the Metal Slug series. So we'll see if that'll happen. If you're a Metal Slug fan and you're on the fence about this game, I would say, like, seriously, get this game. It will, like, you will love it because not only is it I would say it's very character driven with the story, with the characters, but it also like brings all of the Metal Slug characters together in one game for the first time. You know, that has never happened as far as I remember. Maybe Metal Slug 2005. No, I don't remember Nadia and Trevor being in that one. So they're kind of like the characters that were only in one regular game, from what I remember, which is Metal Slug 4, which is one of my favorites. But yeah, everybody's together all in one game, and hopefully, like I said, this game does well. Maybe we'll finally get Metal Slug 8. I've been waiting for that since Metal Slug 7. So hopefully that'll happen. Here is The Last Blade Part 2. Now, I wasn't able to get the deluxe edition for this, but at least I got the collection edition, which I'm happy with. So if you guys don't know, out of all the weapon-based combat games that are 2D, The Last Blade is one of my favorites. Well, probably is my top favorite. I like this over Samurai Showdown. And Part 2 being the best in the series, it is a freaking awesome game. I had to get this collection. So what this comes with, what you can see here, it comes with a soundtrack. Very cool. I love the art on the back. And here are the cards that come with it. These are like for each. They have like art of each character on them, and I think they're pretty cool. I like this type of stuff. Here's the art card for my favorite character, Seminosuke. Man, he is badass. He was the final boss in the first game, and he's back in the second game as a regular character. He's still very powerful though, so don't sleep on him. Here's the art book, very well done. Just Pix'n Love, man, I'm really happy to have their products, man. I'm very impressed with what they put out. One of the things I've always liked about this game is the sense of balance it has. You know, I never felt like characters were too overpowered. I felt like everything was just right. If you like fighting games, you definitely owe it to yourself to play The Last Blade Part 2. You seriously won't regret it. At least, if you fight me, you will. But other than that, you'll be okay. Nefasto's Misadventures. Now this is the collector's edition, and I want to show you guys what's inside here. You guys voted on what kind of unboxings you like me to do, so we're going to do this slowly with like pulling everything out here. And I actually, you saw the collector's edition cover was a bit different. There's two different variants, but I actually like the regular edition cover on the outside better. So, but yeah, luckily you can switch between them. And then under here, we have, I think this, what is this right here? This is some kind of, yeah, that's the soundtrack. And not in a jewel case, but that's totally fine. You know, that takes up room. And then here's the art book for the game as well. So really cool. Wait, this isn't actually an art book. This is a guidebook that's going to help you play the game. And you will definitely need it because the game can be confusing sometimes, but not in a bad way. And here's a nice poster for you to iron out and put up on your wall. It's hard to talk about this game because it's so weird, but you actually play as a character that's inside a video game that's been corrupted. And you go around kind of like fixing glitches, meeting people, just find out the overall story of how the game got messed up. And you find out a lot about how developers make games. It's actually pretty cool, but very, very weird. And this game plays like I want to say like not like a point and click, but more like I guess you could call it like an advanced point and click type game or whatever. You can control your character, but you can only like go to certain spots to activate stuff. But yeah, if you like what you're saying here, you might want to pick. Here is Windjammers Collector's Edition with its sequel, Windjammers 2. Legendary sports game that I didn't think I was going to like at first. So what you're seeing in this collection, this is the Frisbee collection. Here's the game itself. The game originally came out on the Neo Geo years ago, but it got really popular again, so happy about that. But here's the soundtrack. I kind of like how they're not doing jewel cases anymore. They're kind of like just doing their own thing. You know, it seems like a cheaper route, but still, I think it works. Now, I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of the boxes they're using here. It was hard to take the manual out, but still, you have your full color manual here. And also with the game itself, if you go with the single copy of the game, that's the regular edition, it has a manual in there as well. But it's cool that they put this manual in there like it is. I just don't like how that sleeve is there. It seems just kind of weird. But anyways, here are the cards of the characters. Some of you guys that play this game know who these characters are. I played the second game first, which I shouldn't have done. I should have went with the first game because the second game was pretty crazy, but we'll get that in a second. But here's the inside of the case as well, so you know what you're getting. It has a reversible cover. I like the regular cover better, but very cool packaging here, I would say. And here's a close look at everything together, all nice and neat. We're going to look at Windjammers here in a second, but man, I just never thought that this game would pull me in. You know, I thought it was just going to be like some simple, like basic Pong type game, even though you're just throwing frisbees back and forth between each other. But it has that super dodgeball feel to it. So going into the gameplay here, Windjammers is a lot of fun. You know, I didn't like it at first. I thought it was a bit tough, but once I got used to things, it really took off for me. Basically in this game, you want to make sure you know how to counter your enemy pretty much. Now, they'll throw the frisbee at different angles, so you have to be prepared for that. But also, you have to learn each of your opponent's super moves. You have to know how their super moves are angled at you because they'll get you with that stuff. And you have to be careful just to cover your ground pretty much, you know. If you're able to cover your ground, you'll do well. But it could get tough, but not too hard to where you're going to want to quit. You know, it's a lot of fun, and it's just fun to learn this game. Now here's a look at Windjammers 2 Collector's Edition from Pix'n Love. Now pretty much this is the same as the other one. It comes with a few extra cards, but I just want to show you guys this just in case people want to see it. Inside here it comes with a manual as well. As you can see in the big box too, it has its own manual as well. So I like how they did that, but still I feel the same about these boxes. You know, I just feel like hopefully they'll choose different boxes next time when they do these collector's editions. I just don't like these ones here. They kind of remind me of the limited run ones where they were doing the Neo Geo shock boxes. I wasn't really a fan of those, but still, they're still cool though. Don't get me wrong. It's just like I prefer like a Neo Geo shock box type, you know, like a really close to the originals, I would say. All right, so here's everything together. Pretty impressive. You know, Pix'n Love, I mean, I chose them for a lot of their games, man, because I really like the packaging they put together. They put a lot of heart into their products. And I think it really shows from what you guys have seen so far, you know. So, but let me know what you guys think about the boxes that they put the Windjammers in. Do you prefer like the Neo Geo boxes, or do you like these boxes better? I'm curious because me personally, I just didn't really like. I don't really like this style of box. It looks good though. Don't get me wrong. But if I had a choice, I would go with the other Neo Geo boxes. And oh, some stuff here I forgot to mention. Comes with an art book too. This Frisbee collection, so you can look at all the art of the games, which is really nice. But now it's time to look at some gameplay of Windjammers Part 2. Now, I played this game first. I really should have played the original game first before I played this one. This game was tough. It beat my ass. And the new mechanics they added from the original game is like, dude, like it takes a bit to learn. It's not crazy hard, but it's just like if you go into this game first before the other one, it's like it can be very difficult. At least it was for me. I don't know if it would be like that for everyone, but it was for me. But it didn't stop me from enjoying this game. And, you know, I prefer, you know, sprite-based graphics, but I understand the art style, why they went it this way. You know, sprites are very hard to do, very time-consuming. And the art style they use for this game, I think, is very well done. And I think if you're a fan of the first game, you'll definitely like this one once you get used to the new mechanics.
5 points. 5 points. Such an excellent game. Next round.
SBC Chaos is back. There is a resurgence for these games, and hopefully we'll get some kind of a sequel to them. A good sequel, I would say. But SBC Chaos is the is the SNK version of the fighting game series. And This Snapbox case comes with the game itself. It comes with a soundtrack, comes with some cards. Of course, you have like an art book as well. I actually forgot this was on its way, but I'm happy it's here because when it comes to like SNK, when these snap boxes are just like how they were released, and that's how everybody remembers them. So it's an honor to have these games like put in these collector's editions like back in their original cases. So I'm happy with this. Now going to the game itself, I would say this game back in the day wasn't really well received. You know, it does have some good character selection for on the Capcom side. I thought they like Dimitri looks great in this game, like amazing character. It is somewhat story driven, which is nice, which the other games didn't really have that. But I felt like the gameplay was a little bit, well, a lot lacking, especially back in the day. Now I'm more appreciative of it, you know, but still, you know, I'm not really sure how people will receive this game today. I don't think we'll be seeing it at your local tournaments, but who knows, you know. I'm not really like savvy on this game like that. I did enjoy it, you know, but not as much as it should have been enjoyed. This game should have been top of the line, but it did come out at a time where SNK was having some difficulties, you know, like with money and stuff like that. So, you know, that's probably why a lot of like development didn't go into it properly. It was pretty much rushed, but still it's here and it's got some great characters in it on the Capcom side. So definitely check this one out if you have the time. Here's Silt. This is an underwater puzzle adventure game that'll remind you a lot of that game Limbo from back in the day. Now, you start this game in a weird spot. I don't want to spoil it, but once you find out where you're at, it'll kind of trip you out. But once you escape, you know, the game really starts to like really feel like, I don't know, it feels terrifying because you're underwater, but it's like at the same time, it feels like some areas feel pretty relaxing, but at the same time, you can't relax in this game because everything seems like it's out to get you. Now, the whole gimmick with this game is that you're able to possess like the fish and sea creatures underwater to kind of help you kind of get through certain areas. The game has some terrifying looking creatures in this underwater adventure, and one of them, I think it was an eel, and you know, I saw it and I tried to go around it, but it was too fast for me, and I end up suffering eel effects. Whatever that thing is, there's more like it, so just be very careful of your surroundings in this game. The game only takes around 3 to 4 hours to beat, so it's one of those games you can get into and get out of pretty quickly. But I can only recommend this game for people who like a puzzle adventure type. Alright, so here is Young Souls. This is a story-based beat-em-up game that I was pretty surprised about. Now, Collector's Edition comes with the game, of course, itself, got a manual inside with a reversible cover. This Collector's Edition is a bit different from the one I showed, I think about 2 years ago. But this comes with the art book itself. It doesn't come with the vinyl, which I'm totally fine with. I already have that. But a lot of cool art in here, director's notes, things like that. I believe that Pix'n Love is the only one that made a collector's edition for this game, and I'm glad they did because this game deserves it, but we'll go into the gameplay in a bit here. But you can see how cool this art book is. The soundtrack, I would have rather have it in a jewel case, but I can accept this too. You know, it's a bit artsy, I would say, but I don't know. What do you guys think about jewel cases? I feel like CDs should be in jewel cases. And then lastly here, I just want to show you guys everything all together. This is the retro edition. There was another edition that came with a vinyl, but I forgot what that was called. But I believe that sold out. But I think this is still in stock for PS4 or Switch. So definitely check out the website and see if you can pick this one up. So just to do a little small comparison here first, you know, as a beat 'em up game, this game reminds me a little bit of Castle Crashers in the gameplay department. So if you're a fan of that game, I think you'll definitely like this game. But you play as two twins. They're living with their guardian, and they go to the store. They come back home, and something happens pretty much, and they end up going into another world where they're fighting against goblins. And the gameplay in this game is pretty cool because I wasn't doing this at first, but I was kind of like just button mashing. But when you fight, like when enemies do certain types of moves, you have to block or just get out of the way. And when you block certain moves, you counter it and do massive damage. You know, I didn't figure that out until the end because I was just trying to get through one of the levels. The game has a hub pretty much, which is the real world, and you could go like to your house, and then you go to the city and do little errands and just talk with people for like cool events. I pretty much played the game single player, but you can play as both twins pretty much. So you switch between them. Like if one twin's health gets low, you switch to the other one. You can kind of heal a little bit, of the damage they've taken. I'm only on chapter 6, but so far I'm really liking the game. The character dialogue is hilarious between characters, the choices you can make. And just overall, just all the unlockables, I feel like with the moveset, is really impressive. But anyways, guys, let me know how you feel about this one in the comments. The King of Fighters 98 Dream Match Final Edition. Hope you know how to use them. But the character roster, the modes of a challenge you can use with the certain advanced and extra modes, it's just like really like awesome. And though it's not my favorite King of the Fighters game, that title will always be King of the Fighters 2002 Ultimate Match. But this game is damn near right up there with it. And even the intro to this game is catchy, even as corny as it is. But I'm not trying to sound like an old man here. With the disappointment of a lot of fighting games of today, I'm so happy I could just go back and play some of the original games that really like set the foundation for a lot of the greatness that these games brought. No exploiting season passes and things like that. Just constantly like changing games up, rebalancing because they keep adding too many characters to the roster. Even though you could say the same thing about this one, but I felt like the game was made to have a big roster. So definitely, if you like fighting games, I implore you to try the King of Fighters series. The only part that might drive you crazy is that the bosses in these games can be pretty tough. They're gimmicky, but they're beatable. But Omega Regal in this game is like, oh god, he's annoying. But yeah, I'm happy to have this game on the PS4 system. I will go into more detail about this one. I have another video coming out called Items from Pix'n Love that I've gotten over the years. And yeah, I'll show more of it there, but definitely, if you haven't played this game, I would say try it out.
It all began in 94 and found rolling in 95. Pieces were replaced in 96, it came to the end in 97. Now it comes, and here we go. AOF is here again. I think some sound was 1998.
Here's Donut Dodo. This is a throwback to the 80s era of arcade games, kind of like Donkey Kong and stuff like that. You play as a chef that's trying to get this donut from this crazy looking dodo bird. And the game is pretty challenging, but still at the same time, it is a lot of fun. Now, I think they're going to include a 2-player mode for this soon, so I really want to see how that's going to turn out. It's going to be a lot of chaos, but like chaos in a good way, I would say. But if you haven't seen this game out there, it does have a physical from Pix'n Love, and I believe it's on the Evercade as well. Here's the Samurai Showdown Neo Geo collection. Nobody should miss out on this. This collection is insane. It would have been nice to have the 3D games on here as well, but hey, I'll take what I could get. Now, the only game that's missing on here that, it shouldn't be included, but I would love to have it included too, is Samurai Showdown 6, but that was made by a different company, so they're just going with the Neo Geo releases here. And what's going to intrigue people mostly about this collection is probably Samurai Showdown 5 Perfect Edition, which has been lost over time. For some reason, it was made, and then they found out about Samurai Showdown 6 and decided to shelve Samurai Showdown Perfect Edition. But now it's finally here, and it has its own story mode, which is pretty cool. Now, I know I'm going to get laughed at for this, but the game I usually go to when I play Samurai Showdown is Samurai Showdown 3. And I believe this is still considered the black sheep of the series. It added some weird gameplay mechanics, but I liked it. And it also omitted a lot of cool characters like Charlotte and a couple others I can't think of right now, but it added some cool new ones. I still think it's a pretty good game, but I think most people are going to go to Samurai Showdown Perfect to try that one out. Here is Dordania. Hopefully I pronounced that properly. But I guess you would call this one of those type cozy games or whatever. But you play as a young woman named Mimi, and some events are going on in her current life, but the game takes place during her childhood. Most of the game takes place during the time that she went to visit her grandmother, and certain events have happened during that time, but I don't want to talk too much about it because it kind of like spoil the story, but I love that the game looks like a water painting. The game, as you could probably tell, is very story driven, so you'll be reading a lot of notes, interacting with people, and just kind of like unlocking certain memories that Mimi's forgotten over the years. The game is very interactive too, like you'll have to like put keys in doors, turn them and things like that, shake a mailbox and flip it upside down, like little stuff like that. I didn't really care for that type of gameplay, but it really fits this game, to be honest with you, so I'm willing to accept it. It's nice playing something like this, especially after playing Silent Hill 2, which, wow, that game was insane. But I need to relax and play something like this. A lot of people tease me because I told them about this game called The Lake, which is another cozy or relaxing game to play. But those type of games are great, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you gotta mix it up a bit. But now I want to show you this cool collector's edition I got from Pix'n Love, and this thing is freaking amazing. Alright, so here is a look at the collector's edition. Yes, I went all out for it. I thought it was well worth it. You guys know I'm pretty selective on collector's editions, and I felt like this one was super worth it. So it comes with a lot of stuff here. I like that this collector's edition is made in the image of a Mimi suitcase. I thought that was a pretty cool art design choice. Now, of course, I got the PS5 version over the Switch version, but I really feel like this game should have just came out on Switch and PS4. PS5, you know how I feel about stuff that comes out on PS5. I feel like most of those games should push the system, but PS5 needs indie games too, I guess, so it's all good. But anyways, you get this thick art book with this collector's edition, and I was pretty impressed. I didn't know it was going to be this big. I was like, crap, dude, this is like serious business right here. And in here, they have these little art cards as well that shows like art from the game. I do want to quickly show you what's inside this book. I mean, they put everything in it. I mean, the book could be sold probably by itself if they wanted to. I don't know how they would market it. You know, I guess they would just throw it up on their website as the, the book for the game. But still, like, very cool that all this detail went into that book. And now, one of the things I really wanted to show you guys is that this collector's edition comes with vinyl. Yes, I am starting to collect somewhat of a vinyl collection. And I like how this is a blue vinyl. You know, I feel like when it comes to games, I think they should always be different colors. You know, like a black vinyl is fine, but I feel like video games, they should have like different colors to kind of like, I don't know, just express like how the game is or something like that, or something in the game. The game also comes with a reversible cover, so if you don't like the cover that you get, you can switch it around and try the other one. But I think I'm going to keep the original cover that this one came with. I feel like it kind of expresses the game a bit more, at least for me. Now here's a look at everything all together. If you decide to pick this up, you get it as a regular edition or you get the collector's edition. Well, they might be sold out, I don't know. But I'll put links in the description of where you can find this at. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was fun doing this one, the radical one, and I will see you all later.